everyone, I'm Jenny, and today we're looking at something that might seem simple on the surface, the minimum wage, but specifically in the vibrant, historic city of Vilnius, Lithuania. And trust me, there's a story here that's far more complex, far more intriguing than just a number on a paycheck. We're going to explore a peculiar aspect of Vilnius's minimum wage, something that makes it stand out and has fascinating, sometimes surprising, effects on the lives of real people and the economy of this dynamic city. It's not just about economics, it's about people, their struggles, their hopes, and the intricate dance between policy and daily reality. So, let's dive into this and see what we can uncover together. The minimum wage in Vilnius, like in many places, is intended as a safety net, a floor below which wages should not fall. Designed to ensure a basic standard of living for workers, the reasons behind this rapid increase are multifaceted. There's the political dimension. Governments have often seen raising the minimum wage as a popular measure, a tangible way to show they are improving the lives of ordinary citizens, especially those at the bottom of the income ladder. There's the economic growth factor. Lithuania's economy has grown significantly, providing the fiscal space, or at least the argument for, higher wages. There's the inflation aspect. The cost of living, particularly in Vilnius, has been rising, and advocates argue the minimum wage must keep pace to maintain purchasing power. And then there's the EU context. Being part of the EU means comparisons are constantly made with other member states. And there's pressure, both internal and external, to align living standards more closely with the European average. This combination of factors has created a perfect storm, leading to minimum wage. The impact on inflation and the cost of living in Vilnius is another complex layer. The argument is often made that raising wages, especially minimum wage, can contribute to inflation. Businesses facing higher labor costs might pass those costs on to consumers in the form of higher prices. If this happens across many sectors, it can lead to a general increase in the cost of goods and services, potentially eroding the purchasing power gains made by the minimum wage increase itself. It becomes a bit of a paradox. People earn more, but things cost more, especially in a popular, growing city like Vilnius, which already faces pressures on housing costs and other essentials. Understanding the extent to which the rapid minimum wage increase contributes to or is simply correlated with rising living costs in Vilnius is a subject of ongoing debate and analysis, and it's a key part of the peculiar dynamic. Understanding. Let's think about this more. The social implications of this rapid minimum wage increase in Vilnius are also profound. Beyond the immediate financial impact on individuals, it affects income inequality. Does it narrow the gap between the lowest earners and the rest of the workforce? Or does it potentially widen the gap between those who have stable jobs at the minimum wage and those who are unemployed or in the informal economy? Does it affect migration patterns? Does a higher minimum wage make Vilnius a more attractive place for workers from other parts of Lithuania or from neighboring countries? Or does it make it too expensive for some to live there, potentially pushing them out? These are complex social questions with no easy answers. And the speed of the change in Vilnius makes the analysis even more critical. Thinking about all this, it's clear that the rapid increase in Vilnius's minimum wage is not just an economic policy. It's a social experiment with far-reaching consequences. It forces us to ask fundamental questions about the value of labor, the role of government in the economy, and the kind of society we want to build. It highlights the interconnectedness of economic factors, how a change in one area can ripple through the entire system, affecting everything from the price of a loaf of bread to the decision of a small business owner to hire a new employee. We can explore this further by looking at specific sectors. How has the minimum wage increase impacted the hospitality industry in Vilnius, where many jobs are typically low wage? What about the retail sector, or cleaning and maintenance services? Are there differences in how these sectors have adapted? Have some found ways to absorb the costs more effectively than others? Is ongoing, and there are many unanswered questions. What is the optimal level for the minimum wage in Vilnius? How should it be adjusted in the future? Should it be linked to inflation, average wages, or other economic indicators? How can policymakers mitigate the potential negative impacts on businesses while ensuring a decent standard of living for workers? These are questions that require careful consideration, robust data analysis, and open dialogue among all stakeholders. It's also important to remember that behind the statistics and the economic models are real people, individuals and families whose lives are directly affected by this policy. Understanding their stories, their challenges, and their aspirations is essential to truly grasping the human impact of the minimum wage in Vilnius. Hearing from a minimum wage worker about how the increase has changed their life, or FR. The political debate surrounding the minimum wage in Lithuania, and specifically as it relates to Vilnius, is also a fascinating area to explore. How do different political parties position themselves on this issue? What are their arguments and priorities? How does public opinion influence policy decisions? Understanding the political dynamics adds another layer to the analysis of why these rapid changes have occurred. It's also worth examining the role of international organizations and their recommendations regarding minimum wage policy in Lithuania. Has the EU or other bodies offered guidance or pressure? How have these external influences shaped the domestic debate and policy decisions? This international dimension is increasingly relevant in a globalized world. Let's take a moment to reflect on the data. While numbers can't tell the whole story, they provide crucial insights, looking at trends in average wages, unemployment. It makes you wonder, doesn't it, about the ripple effects of seemingly simple policies, how a single number, the minimum wage, can touch so many lives and influence so many aspects of a city's economy and society. It's a powerful reminder that economic policy is deeply human, intertwined with the daily realities of millions. As I wrap up this exploration of the peculiar minimum wage situation in Vilnius, I hope it's given you something to think about. Perhaps challenged some assumptions, or sparked your own curiosity to look closer at the economic forces shaping the world around us. If you found this analysis interesting, if it made you think, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss future explorations of fascinating topics like this. And if you have any thoughts, insights, or questions about the minimum wage in Vilnius or anywhere else, I'd love to hear them. Please leave a comment below. Let's K.